I have today great pleasure to talk to and see Mr. Frank Warren, one of the leading European world boxing promoter, shoe Hall of Famer, Mr. Warren.
Co za fantastyczna noc boksu. Tu będą padać bomby największego kalibru. Przygotujcie się Państwo na wielkie grzmoty.
So many boxers you have promoted. Prince Nazim Khamed, Frank Bruno, Amir Khan, Joe Calzaghe, Ricky Hatton, Tyson Fury, and it is 40 years of your work. You have started in Royal Albert Hall 40 years ago. What recollections of that event you have now?
Well, it was actually at the Bloomsbury Hotel on the 1st of December in 1980. And it was obviously a long time ago. And I put two Americans on, two American light heavyweights, JT Gordon and Otis Martin. And, Jerry Martin. And it was on paper, it looked like it was going to be a great fight. To be very honest with you, though, it was a rubbish fight. It was a very boring fight. And we didn't have a lot of fans there. So it was a bit of an awful baptism into professional boxing for me.
But I understand that you don't regret investing your time and money in boxing, or you are slightly tired because of today's situation in the world?
Well, I mean, listen, even if I regretted it, it's a bit late now. It's 40 years too late to regret it, but I enjoyed it. I've had some really good times. I've had some bad times, but I've met some really interesting people. I've been to, you know, I came from a pretty ordinary background, and to meet the people I've met, you know, people from all over the world, and, you know, from kings down to, you know, just the guys in the street, and they've all had the common interest, the love of boxing, like myself. So I've been blessed. I've been very lucky. It's tragic what's going on at the moment for the world with COVID. It's causing so many people so many different problems. You know, their health issues, people losing their jobs and so forth. So I can't complain. We just have to get on with it. All we can do is to try and keep putting shows on, which we're doing in the UK behind closed doors. We've ran 8 shows now. We're doing another 4 before Christmas. So we've been quite active, but obviously the financial implications are that you're losing your live gate, and also the fact that you know, it's like watching the football matches, soccer matches. If you haven't got a live crowd there is a difference. It becomes quite a sterile atmosphere. But you know, as I say, if we don't do it, then there won't be any boxing. So we have to do it, and we get on with it. And hopefully, when they find a vaccine, things will improve for us and for everybody.
Up to now, your promotional company, Queensberry Promotion, was concentrating your activity in Europe, Great Britain. Now you are investing in Poland. There is a new company, Queensberry Poland. First show will be on Saturday, November 21 in a medieval Gniew Castle. What was the reason that you invested in Poland? Poland used to be European power, regularly refreshing British boxer, but it was some years ago. Now we are in crisis, almost 30 years without Olympic medal.
Look, you know, Poland, there's a great love of boxing in Poland, and they have a lot of tradition. There is a big population in the UK of Polish population. A lot of people in the UK work here, and they're big boxing fans. And I know that because I meet them at the shows. When Mario Kradzewski came to see me, he was very keen to do it. And he met with my son, Francis. And between them, they really worked hard for a couple of years now to get this to the situation it's at. They've invested a lot of time, a lot of money, and they're investing a lot of money into boxing and the boxers. And I'm really looking forward to the show. It's in I hope I'm pronouncing this right, Gniew Castle. And it's going to be a unique setting. for us to do our first show. Obviously, we'd like, if we could do it under better circumstances with the public being able to buy tickets, it would be fantastic. But we've got to start somewhere. So we're starting where we are, and they put together a good card. They are spearheading it. Obviously I'm the old guy in the background, and and I do my stuff in the States, but they're the young blood. And Marius I've got tremendous faith in him. I get on very well. I actually look at him like I look at one of my sons. And we were going to work really hard, all of us as a team, Queensbury, Poland, Queensbury here in the UK, to make this a successful situation. And it's not about the short term, just running one show. We're going to do regular shows on a regular basis, and they'll be televised by POLSKI, who we've got a great relationship with. And we'll be doing this for the foreseeable future. So it's about building. You've got to start somewhere. So we're starting where we're at now. And I'm quite sure as a result of this, that we're going to discover some great Polish talent and bring them through, and hopefully to go on to win world titles. That's what the aim is here, is to build and make it something substantial for Poland and for Polish boxing.
Do you know some names of Polish boxers that will be in Gniew Castle?
We've got quite a few. I've got to read them all out because I'm terrible with some of the names. But for example, we've got a couple of Uzbekistanis fighting in there. Sharamakatov, he's on there. We've got quite a few good young guys on there. I've got to pronounce again. I've got another guy from Kazakhstan. We're about to sign. His name's I've got to read this because I'm bad with my pronunciations. Batirazan Dukanbayev, who's an 18-0, and he's from Kazakhstan, so he'll be fighting there. And the guys have signed some really good Polish talent. And I'm going to give you all these names because I'm terrible on this. I'm no good at spelling. So we've got, right, I'm going to read them out to you because I'm not going to be. So we've got a great card. We've got Paul Ugostignik. He's a light heavyweight fighting Darek Sek. We've got Rafael Jackie Wisk fighting Bartosz Grafta. We've got Mikhail Sokskariski. I hope I'm getting these pronunciations right. Cruiserweight fighting Mikhail Kruzkiel. Sharakimov, I just mentioned. We've got Ryszard Lewicki making his debut against Peter Brzoska. We've got Karol Dlugus, I hope I pronounced that right as well, against Krzysztof Starowaski. He's a light heavyweight. We've got Peter Merga versus Robert Niederwiski. Kamil Moroskowski against Matus Rybarski. And then we've got a couple of amateur fights, Artur Proskas and Oliwa Swats. I hope I pronounced it right. And if I haven't, my apologies. I'm a bit ignorant, and unfortunately, I don't speak Polish.
Okay, yeah, I hope you will improve your Polish. Now,
I'm going to need to, aren't I? I'm going to need to. I know it's pretty rubbish, my Polish, but I'll get there.
On the Queensbury Poland roster are some international talents. I heard of one, Uzbekistan champion, Sharakhmatov. For me, he is a sure pretendent to the world title. Perhaps you can give us some other names. I had heard rumors that you are closing a negotiation with Sofiane Oumiha, French silver medalist from Olympic Games in Rio, the guy who defeated in Rio Teofimo Lopez.
You're quite right with those, with what you just said. We're in talks, and they're pretty far down the road. Mario and Francis, and hopefully they will get those over the line. So we've got a good roster of fighters. We're building, as I say, this is early days. So they're bringing these guys in. We're going to start bringing some guys in from the UK as well. So as you get some British fighters, we're going to bring over, and vice versa. Some of these guys are going to come and fight in Britain as well. So it's quite an interesting scenario. We're going to make this work. It's going to work, and it's going to be fantastic.
I see. You are 40 years in boxing business, but up to now you haven't promoted any Polish boxer. Have you ever tried?
I can't remember their names. I've had a couple of Polish boxers fight on my cards, but I never got by get behind. I never had a promotional contract to get behind an actual Polish boxer. This is different now. These guys are now Queensberry guys. That means they've got us behind them. That means we'll be pushing for them. That means that we'll give them the platform so they can show the world how good they are. So we will do what we do, which we've done with the likes of the fighters you mentioned earlier on, like Nassim Hamid, Kawsakis. We're looking for the Polish Nassim Hamid, the Polish Joe Kawsaki. Okay. That's what we're looking to build. That's what this is all about, building these big names.
Mr. Warren, I have such tradition that I have a small questionnaire, not only about boxing for you. 12 questions, 12 short answers. Let's go. First, who was the most talented guy in your boxing stable in these 40 years?
The most talented was Nassim Hamid. He was an exceptional talent, but towards the end of his career, he stopped training. He didn't train as he should, and he did not. Although all the things he won and he won a lot. He won a lot of different world titles. He could have been even better. And one other one I've got to mention, who was a great fighter, was Joe Kawsaki, who was undefeated. He was a phenomenal super middleweight and light heavyweight. He was a great talent. And we got Tyson Fury. And Tyson, undefeated heavyweight, I think he's the best heavyweight in the world. So up to now, it's the two guys I mentioned, and Tyson keeps doing what he's doing. He probably eclipsed them all.
Boxers who disappointed you most?
Look, they're human beings. You've got some guys, most of the fighters, if I say have disappointed me, have been guys who've wasted their talent. Talent gets you so far. Hard work, you need hard work with talent. We had a great footballer over here when I was a kid called Georgie Best. He was probably the most talented British player.
I know.
Most talented. However, he stopped playing, at the top level, probably about 26 years of age, because he was living the life. He was drinking. He was, doing things he shouldn't be doing as a professional athlete. And so his career was cut very short, and he could have done much better than he had. And that's happened with a few fighters that I've been involved with over the years. There's been a few who've disappointed me. I don't want to be specific about it, but they know who they are, and and let me tell you, it's quite a harsh thing to say. I will go on and do what I'm doing. They get one chance, and if they don't give their all, and if any young boxers are watching this, if you don't commit yourself, if you haven't got the dedication, then do not get involved in boxing, because it's the toughest sport of all.
Okay, your best boxing business, signing Tyson Fury, who was spurned by Eddie Hearn?
Well, he actually wasn't spurned by Eddie Hearn. That's what Eddie Hearn says. Tyson didn't ask to sign with him. Tyson was coming with me. So I think he was very upset. He thought in Anthony Joshua he had the crown jewel. And hopefully we can get those two guys on next year, get Tyson in with Anthony Joshua. I firmly believe Tyson has the beating of him. And that with them, for me, will make him probably the best British fighter I've ever been involved with. I'm delighted that he's with me, Tyson. He came from a bad place. He had a lot of problems going on in his life. He had terrible mental issues. He had a drink problem, and he's overcome that. And I think I've been good for him in getting him back, in getting his career back on track. And he's been good for me as a promoter. So we're a good match. We're a good team.
What was the most dangerous situation in your boxing promoter career? Attempted murder by Terry Marsh. You were shot twice in the chest. Bullet narrowly missed your heart. It was it or something else?
Well, I was shot. He stood trial for that, but he was found not guilty. So you've got to make that very clear. Otherwise, you'd be sued. Not by me, by him. He was found not guilty. Yeah, that was something that happened 30 years ago. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I don't even think about it. It's something that's totally irrelevant to me. I always think about today and moving forward. That's all I care about.
So, when you were the most happy as boxing promoter?
Probably, I've had quite a few moments where I've been very happy as far as promoting. in different ways. I was very happy when I got my first television deal, because by succeeding in getting my television deal, it made a big difference to the quality of the promotions that I could put together because of the financial implications. That was back in 1981 with ITV, big broadcaster over here, terrestrial TV. I launched boxing on Sky TV, on Setanta, and now on BT television. BT, you know, with them. They've all been really happy moments for obvious reasons. Very happy when, you know, I've guided fighters who a lot of people thought wouldn't win titles, did. I mean, Joe Calzaghe, everybody thought Jeff Lacey was going to beat him, and he done a job on Jeff Lacey. Ricky Hatton, when he beat Costa Zoo at that time, was pound for pound #1 in the world. That made me very happy because I felt that my man would win. When Tyson Fury beat Klitschko the first time, I didn't promote that, but I was quite happy for Tyson. But certainly I was happy when he fought Wilder. I thought he got robbed when I gave it as a draw. But certainly the second fight, I was ecstatic about that because he's done an absolute job on a good heavyweight. Nigel Benn in a very tragic fight when he fought Gerald McClellan. That was a very sad time because it tells you how dangerous the sport can be at times. But that was happy when he won it, but very unhappy of the consequences certainly to Gerald McClellan, who never got over that fight. There's been some really, really, really good ups. Lots of more happier times than bad times. Otherwise, I still wouldn't be doing it. I get a lot of joy out of coming into the office because every fight is a new business. It's a new thing. You're putting a show on. It's a totally different thing from the last one.
Your idea of happiness outside boxing.
What's my idea of happiness?
Yes, outside boxing.
My family. My family, they bring me a lot of joy and a lot of happiness. I go to a lot of concerts. I enjoy my music. I like going to good restaurants, eating nice food and drinking fine wine. I like going to the theatre. I like doing all those sort of things. But the biggest joy is my family.
Is something you dislike in boxing?
I dislike the medical side of it, in as much that a boxer. I'll give you an example, like a Danny Williams, who was license was withdrawn by the Boxing Board of Control many years ago, and he shouldn't be fighting, yet he still goes into Europe and fights in Europe. And there are countries that allow that to happen. And all that's doing is causing him a lot of problems that he's going to experience in later life. He's too old to start with, and he takes a lot of punishment, and he shouldn't be doing it. So the fact that the medical side of boxing in the world is not coordinated and that the various associations do not work together to ensure that the fighter is protected, that really does disappoint me. There are too many governing bodies. There's 4 at the moment. I think 2 would be a maximum because I wouldn't want to see a monopoly. I don't particularly like that. But overall, I feel that we're a sport that certainly there's a lot of room for improvement. In the UK, they work very hard, the British Boxing Board of Control, to safeguard the boxer's health. That's paramount in everything we do. And I just wish that some other countries would follow their example and do that, because at the end of the day, it's a very dangerous sport and the boxers need their welfare to be protected.
Who are your heroes in real life?
I've met my heroes. I've met my hero when I was a kid was Muhammad Ali, and I've met with him and I've eaten with him and I had fun with him. And Nelson Mandela, I went to his house in Joburg after a fight. He invited me down. I sat with him. I found him the most inspirational person I've ever met. I mean, amazing man. When you think what he went through being imprisoned to fight for his rights, and to come out and not have any prejudice or have any ill feelings to people. He sets an example to world leaders. And they're two of probably my greatest heroes. And another big hero was Frank Sinatra, who I promoted, because I also promote music, and I promoted Frank Sinatra. He was a big hero of mine, and it was great fun to be involved and work with him.
What living person do you admire most?
Living person today who I admire.
Yes,
who I admire. I'll tell you what I admire today. I admire all the medical profession for what they're doing under these terrible conditions that we're in. The doctors and the nurses. That's who I admire. You know, they're unsung heroes. They're the ones who are keeping everybody going in these terrible times. I think they should be on a pedestal for all of us to look up to. What's
your motto in life?
Is to work hard. Nobody gives you anything in life. You have to go and work for it, you know. And if you work hard, people say you can be lucky, but I think the harder you work, the luckier you get. And I work very hard, and I like to pass that ethic on to my kids, my children. 3 of them work in the business. George is a CEO of Queensbury in the UK. Henry works here, and Francis, as you know, is works here, and obviously he's working with Maris. And my motive at the moment is to see them be successful in what they're doing, because they're excited about what they're doing. They're young men, and they're going to be a great team. They work hard together, and I'm really, my motive to see them succeed. That's my motive.
Co za fantastyczna noc boksu. Tu będą padać bomby największego kalibru. Przygotujcie się Państwo na wielkie grzmoty.